Alright, here's my 1961 reserve pinball machine. I gotta take a quick video of this and then haul her off to storage. Still gotta change the replay value to 1,000 for a free game instead of 800, because 800 is a little too easy in my opinion, but give it a go. Got 500 for the first ball. It's pretty great. There we go. Just need to holler at the top and I'll spell the whole thing. One through 4 you have to collect in order. So that was 1 in the left out lane. If I look just about here, it should get me the other one. Oh! A little short. Remember that for next time. Oh, come on. Already 1,000 points. 2 more balls left. Try right there. Wow, I got both. Now my gobble hole and my alternating out lane is special. And I got number 3. This would be a perfect game. I could just end up on this one. I do need to collect 4 last, which there it is. Now my drain was 100, so that gave me 100 points. 1 through 4 complete lights the drain for 100 and the upper special, and reserve complete lights the alternating out lane for special and the gobble hole. So currently I have a special shot for getting down the center up there. This Roger Sharp it. Oh, missed it. Oh. Oh. Wrong out lane. But I got another 100 points on my drain for a score of 1,879. That's unironically the best game I've ever had on this machine. So, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with that. We'll stop it there, but I'll stop playing there. But all of reserve and all 1 through 4 taken out. That's very nice. A little shot with the light off. How nice it looks. Granted, the back glass isn't perfect. There's a little bit of flaking, especially in the bottom right. But still very nice for its age. All the paint is where it needs to be to get the message across. A little bit of wear from the kick-out holes, of course, but once again, not terrible. Even the bumper cap still held up pretty nice, minus the center jet one that's always on. Now, I bought this machine without a lockdown bar, so I had to basically use a Williams lockdown bar, which this is not the proper bar for this machine. This machine has a very rare and very difficult to find bar that's the same as used on Riverboat, another classic Williams machine. So in order to use this one, I chiseled away the holes here and here, and I left a wonderful note on the inside that says you have to remove a screw to take out the lockdown bar, because I used this little Phillips head screw and drilled a little hole right here. It goes all the way in, so it's not really noticeable. Drilled a little hole right there so that screw fits directly in this little gap here to basically lock it in, because the original lockdown bar locked in with wing nuts, and I don't really have wing nuts to grab onto. I was a little worried I'd have to like make a chain or something and like mount it to the bottom of that to latch it to it, so thankfully that wasn't the case. Let me put my phone right back up here, and I can take the glass off and show you the inside of reserve here. Machine was kind of a pain, I will admit. Was decently reliable when I got it all fixed, but there were little nagging problems that I wasn't a big fan of. But it's all fixed now, that's what matters. Let me just lift it all the way. There we go. And take a look on the inside. All trough was nice. Had the original schematics, which actually came very helpful for fixing some of the problems. One of the huge problems, this coil down here for advanced match relay has a lot of other functions that it's really burned up. It needs to work properly, but I'm wondering, does this have a 5, 6, 7, 8? Yeah, I don't know why it has another step to it. Really shouldn't. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. That is interesting. This is the unit for the value of the gobble hole. That's the one thing I didn't really get advanced terribly far, but the gobble hole value advances from 50 all the way to 500 points. And I will, actually I'll advance that right now so you can see. I went blue, blue, green, green, yellow, yellow, orange, orange, red, red for my values. I thought that was pretty neat. I mean, gives it a little more character and makes it a little more obvious that, you know, your value's getting bigger when the lights get warmer rather than it all just being the same color with normal bulbs instead of LEDs. Let me hit the start button, I'll show you. You'll see when I start the game, reserve and bumpers on and 1 through 4 resets, but the gobble hole never resets until you collect it. And it just advances off the lit kick out hole here. What's really cool is if it's at 500 and you collect it, it doesn't just count the hundreds reel up 5 times like you might assume. No, it doesn't have 100-point relay in it to do like 500 points. It just uses the 50 and counts the 50s until it's down all the way. I've seen Gottlieb games where like a gobble hole will be lit for 50, 100, or 150, and regardless of what it scores, it'll just count through 50 1, 2, or 3 times depending on where the score motor's at. But this one, it literally just, let me just show you. Let me get my gobble hole, and then you'll hopefully see it end at 505 points. That's quite the bonus. I will say, it's quite the bonus. I do really like these Williams games because I don't have to worry about the balls falling everywhere when I lift the playfield up because they're in this own trough down here and it's not attached to the field. It's super nice. But also I have this blue fire bulb. It makes it kind of give a under the sea look when you look at the balls played, which nobody ever does, but I mean, it's kind of neat. Score motor's cleaned, all the switches clean like usual. You got your flippers. A little worn out, but still nice. Trying to think of anything that was really an issue. Some of the socket repair was kind of bad, but nothing too tedious. The head, on the other hand, my goodness, the stuff in the head was a lot of work. I got this original back door, thank goodness, but I needed a new lock for it. I'm actually deciding I'm going to leave most of my games unkeyed for the front. I'll use my cam locks for the back door, but as I'm getting more and more games, and I'm thinking the Pinball Museum is more and more evident to be happening in the future, I don't want to be locking all my front doors with different keys, because I want to wait until I actually have stuff in, have a matching key for everything. So you've got your standard Williams one-player stuff in the back, match unit for the match number. Actually, I'll show that off real quick too, because I do really like. Let me just put easy way to go to game over. My match number was 1. I do really like about the match number on this one because it lights up a different color. I put different LEDs behind them, but it lights up in the different scuba tanks. There's 2 blue, 2 yellow, an ice blue, a red, orange, and a green. Or you could say the reserve tanks. Anyways. But, what else? Yeah, we were missing a lot of these 1350 coils when I first restored it, and I didn't actually swap them out. The only original 1350 coils were this bell and the hundreds unit. This bell, the tens unit, and the ones unit were all different coils. And 1350 measures about 12.5 ohms. And some of the coils in these units were like down to like 2 or 5 ohms. And the bell coil especially, I actually replaced this with a Gottlieb bell coil, this one over here, which is about like 2.5 ohms. Which you'd think, well, it's an electromechanical game. How different could it be? This is a Williams electromechanical game from the early 50s / early 60s, which means these coils are 50 volts, not the normal Gottlieb 24 volt coils that most electromechanical games use. So I was pretty much going to be out of luck finding these coils. I could just order them and not be annoyed, but I didn't. So I decided to come up with replacements that were close in ohmage, because the issue I was coming across with having the coils with too low resistance in these reels is I would never get the hundreds to turn over. And remember, hundreds has that original 12 ohm coil in there. Like when I'm getting the gobble hole, I'd get the 50s counting up, but they wouldn't turn over the hundreds. I was like, maybe the 9th position switch just isn't making right.
Maybe the hundreds point relay is needs work, but I already worked on both of those things. It was because my coils did not have enough resistance, because the 10s was going off at the same time and the 10/100 point bell was going off at the same time. Both of those coils just were like, since they had so little resistance, there wasn't enough power, so to speak, left in the game to power the hundreds reel that had the normal 12 ohm coil resistance. So went and changed them out. Like this coil, for example, has probably about 10 ohms of resistance. I used actually a Gottlieb flipper coil, for a normal EM flipper coil, and I just used the outside windings, I think, on this one. And that one is about like 8 ohms of resistance. Granted, that's not exactly 12, but it's certainly a lot better than like 5 and 2. So my hundreds reel always turns now. That's what I care about. Unfortunately, these games also have these really old style relays in them, which they're fine, but when the little fabric wire, that's what I call these little very thin wires that are just meant to be able to move freely, because they're attached to this thing. When they come unsoldered, they're a pain in the butt to get back on. Plenty of backbox socket repair on this guy too. Have this guy over here. All the ones, of course, with my arrow drawn next to them were ones that I found needed some repair. I did a repair on this one, and yeah. But turned out all right. Got it all working. I don't know if, I think maybe this bell's new. Not new, it's the original, but like, yeah, it was in here. Wonderful game. Cabinet's in pretty good shape too. Not much paint missing off of it. Pretty kind of nasty looking down there. And this is actually supposed to be a pretty dark purple. It's now almost a gray color. You can end up seeing it underneath the legs when I take the legs off, what the original should have been. But let's do the normal send off. Let's see how this one goes. Actually, that's gonna kick over there. That's gonna come back and hit me in the nuts. Let's not. I gotta try it. Shit. Okay. Intrusive thoughts moment, but a wonderful game. Heading to storage, but hopefully you'll be able to see it once it gets to the pinball arcade / museum, or whatever the heck I end up doing. So, one final problem that it had that just had me racking my brain. Doubt yours would ever have the same problem, but if your score reels don't turn when the relay's energized and the relay sticks on, but the score reels still turn when the score reset relay pulls in, then you might have a red wire broken off right here. It took me forever to find this last night. I spent all day knowing that this was a problem. Like, why do none of my friggin' reels turn when they just pull in the relay and they don't do anything? I already messed with all the relays. I resoldered some of the stuff that looked loose on 10-point relay. But I was like, what is going on with this thing? And I'm just sitting here on my stool contemplating life. And then I see this double red wire going up to here, and one of them was just broken off right here of the double red. And that took out all 3 score reels, like continuity with the relays. And oh my gosh, I was actually really satisfied when I figured that out, or not really figured it out, but noticed what was wrong, because man, that was annoying. But anyways, yeah, let's see. I can even see the date on here if I don't look at my name. 03/08/2023. Excuse me. When I left that note. Next up is that guy. That guy. And there's the side profile of his cabinet. There's the side profile of his head. Guess the game. Let's play Who's That Pokemon? Who's That Pinball? You saw the pictures of the front box in the cabinet? That's plenty enough for a pinball person to guess what it is. And also, if it wasn't obvious, the ball and play doesn't advance on this, obviously, because there's no ball and play. It's just 2 switches to take out the game over. But this switch right here, this is only used when the 1 through 4 is completed in order. That's what makes the drain worth 100 points. Closes it right there. I think it's pretty neat. Well, see you around. Hopefully this mystery machine right here will be the next video. Ooh. Bye.